old age consists of ages nearing or surpassing the life expectancy of human beings, and thus the end of the human life cycle. Euphemisms and terms for old people include, old people, seniors, senior citizens, older adults, the elderly, and elders. Old people often have limited regenerative abilities and are more prone to disease, syndromes, and sickness than younger adults. The organic process of aging is called senescence, the medical study of the aging process is gerontology, and the study of diseases that affect the elderly is geriatrics. The elderly also face other social issues such as retirement, loneliness, and ageism. The chronological age denoted as old age varies culturally and historically. Thus, old age is a social construct rather than a definite biological stage. Definitions of old age include official definitions, popular definitions, subgroup definitions, and 4 dimensions as follows. Official definitions: old age comprises the later part of life. The period of life after youth and middle age, usually with reference to deterioration in the 4th century BC, Plato divided the human lifespan into 6 phases, the last 2 constituting old age and advanced age. The last phase, he noted, is one that, fortunately, few attain. When old age begins cannot be universally defined because it shifts according to the context. The United Nations has agreed that 60-plus years may be usually denoted as old age, and this is the first attempt at an international definition of old age. However, for its study of old age in Africa, the World Health Organization set 50 as the beginning of old age. At the same time, the WHO recognized that the developing world often defines old age, not by years, but by new roles, loss of previous roles, or inability to make active contribution to society. Most developed Western countries set the age of 60 to 65 for retirement and old age social programs eligibility. However, various countries and societies reckon the onset of old age is anywhere from the mid-40s to the 70s. Furthermore, the fact that life expectancy beyond 80 has become widespread has shifted definitions of old age. Popular definitions: a Pew Research Center study of 2,929 Americans, age 18 plus, found that they hold very different definitions of old age. Respondents under 30 said that old age begins at 60, but respondents 65 plus said 74. Most Britons define old age as starting at 59 according to a survey of 2,200 people in the UK. The under 25s reckon 54 as the beginning of old age. The 80-plus define old age as starting at 68. Another survey concluded that most Britons define the onset of old age as almost 70. Europeans on average set the start of old age at 62. Subgroup definitions: gerontologists have recognized the very different conditions that people experience as they grow older within the years defined as old age. In developed countries, most people in their 60s and early 70s are still fit, active, and able to care for themselves. However, after 75, they will become increasingly frail, a condition marked by serious mental and physical debilitation. Therefore, rather than lumping together all people who have been defined as old, some gerontologists have recognized the diversity of old age by defining subgroups. One study distinguishes the young old, the middle old, and the very old. Another study a unregistered trademark subgrouping as young old, middle old, and oldest old. A third subgrouping is a one young older a older and old old. Delineating subgroups in the 65-plus population enables a more accurate portrayal of significant life changes. 4 dimensions: old age comprises the 4 dimensions: chronological, biological, psychological, and social. Chronological age may differ considerably from a persona unregistered trademark functional age. The distinguishing marks of old age normally occur in all 5 senses at different times and different rates for different persons. In addition to chronological age, people can be considered old because of the other 3 dimensions of old age. For example, people may be considered old when they become grandparents or when they begin to do less or different work in retirement. Marks of old age: The distinguishing marks associated with old age comprise both physical and mental characteristics. The marks of old age are so unlike the marks of middle age that it has been suggested that, as an individual transitions into old age, he/she might well be thought of as different persons at times sharing the same identity. These marks do not occur at the same chronological age for everyone. Also, they occur at different rates and order for different people. Because each person is unique, marks of old age vary between people, even those of the same chronological age. A basic mark of old age that affects both body and mind is slowness of behavior. This slowing down principally finds a correlation between advancing age and slowness of reaction and task performance, both physical and mental. Physical marks of old age. Physical marks of old age include the following: bone and joint. Old bones are marked by a thinning and shrinkage. This results in a loss of height, a stooping posture in many people, and a greater susceptibility to bone and joint diseases such as osteoarthritis and osteoporosis. Chronic diseases. Most older persons have at least one chronic condition and many have multiple conditions. In 2007 to 2009, the most frequently occurring conditions among older persons in the United States were uncontrolled hypertension, diagnosed arthritis, and heart disease. Dental problems. Less saliva and less ability for oral hygiene in old age increases the chance of tooth decay and infection. Digestive system. About 40% of the time, old age is marked by digestive disorders such as difficulty in swallowing, inability to eat enough and to absorb nutrition, constipation and bleeding. Eyesight. Diminished eyesight makes it more difficult to read in low lighting and in smaller print. Speed with which an individual reads and the ability to locate objects may also be impaired. Falls. Old age spells risk for injury from falls that might not cause injury to a younger person. Every year, about 1/3 of those 65 years old and over half of those 80 years old fall. Falls are the leading cause of injury and death for old people. Hair usually becomes thinner and grayer. Hearing. By age 75 and older, 48% of men and 37% of women encounter impairments in hearing. Of the 26.7 million people over age 50 with a hearing impairment, only 1 in 7 uses a hearing aid. Hearts are less efficient in old age with a resulting loss of stamina. In addition, atherosclerosis can constrict blood flow. Immune function. Less efficient immune function is a mark of old age. Lungs expand less well. Thus, they provide less oxygen. Pain affects old people at least 25% of the time, increasing with age up to 80% for those in nursing homes. Most pains are rheumatological or malignant. Sexual activity decreases significantly with age, especially after age 60, for both women and men. Sexual drive in both men and women decreases as they age. Skin loses elasticity, becomes drier, and more lined and wrinkled. Sleep trouble holds a chronic prevalence of over 50% in old age and results in daytime sleepiness. In a study of 9,000 persons with a mean age of 74, only 12% reported no sleep complaints. By age 65, deep sleep goes down to about 5%. Taste buds diminish so that by age 80 taste buds are down to 50% of normal. Food becomes less appealing and nutrition can suffer. Urinary incontinence is often found in old age. Voice. In old age, vocal cords weaken and vibrate more slowly. This results in a weakened, breathy voice that is sometimes called an old persona unregistered trademark S voice. Mental marks of old age. Mental marks of old age include the following. Adaptable describes most people in their old age. In spite the stressfulness of old age, they are described as agreeably and accepting. However, old age dependence induces feelings of incompetence and worthlessness in a minority. Caution marks old age. This antipathy toward risk-taking stems from the fact that old people have less to gain and more to lose by taking risks than younger people. Depressed mood. According to Cox, Abramson, Devine, and Hollon, Old age is a risk factor for depression caused by prejudice. When people are prejudiced against the elderly and then become old themselves, their anti-elderly prejudice turns inward, causing depression. OE people with more negative age stereotypes will likely have higher rates of depression as they get older. Old age depression results in the over 65 population having the highest suicide rate. Fear of crime in old age, especially among the frail, sometimes weighs more heavily than concerns about finances or health and restricts what they do. The fear persists in spite of the fact that old people are victims of crime less often than younger people. Mental disorders affect about 15% of people aged 60 plus according to estimates by the World Health Organization. Another survey taken in 15 countries reported that mental disorders of adults interfered with their daily activities more than physical problems. Reduced mental and cognitive ability affects old age. Memory loss is common in old age due to the decrease in speed of information being encoded, stored, and received. It takes more time to learn new information. Dementia is a general term for memory loss and other intellectual abilities serious enough to interfere with daily life. Its prevalence increases in old age from about 10% at age 65 to about 50% over age 85. Alzheimer's disease accounts for 50 to 80% of dementia cases. Demented behavior can include wandering, physical aggression, verbal outbursts, depression, and psychosis. Setino Neo unregistered trademark S-Ways describes a mindset of old age. A study of over 400 distinguished men and women in old age found a preference for the routine explanations include old age unregistered trademark S toll on the a fluid intelligence and the a more deeply entrenched ways of the old. Perceptions of old age. The literature regarding old age includes perceptions of old age from a middle-age perspective, from an old age perspective, from society unregistered trademark S perspective, and from a simulated perspective. Old age from a middle-age perspective. Numerous books by middle-age writers depict their perceptions of old people. One writer notices the change in his parents: they move slowly, they have lost strength, they repeat stories, their minds wander, and they fret. Another writer sees her aged parents and is bewildered, they refuse to follow her advice, they are obsessed with the past, they avoid risk, they live at a glacial pace. Other writers treat the perceptions of middle-aged people regarding their own old age. In her The Denial of Aging, Dr. Muriel Ogulik, a baby boomer, accuses her contemporaries of believing that by proper exercise and diet they can avoid the scourges of old age and proceed from middle age to death. Studies find that many people in the 55 to 75 range can postpone morbidity by practicing healthy lifestyles. However, at about age 80, all people experience similar morbidity. Even with healthy lifestyles, most 85-plus people will undergo extended OE frailty and disability. Old age from an old age perspective. Early old age is a pleasant time, children are grown, retirement from work, time to pursue interests. In contrast, perceptions of old age by writers 80-plus years old, OE old age in the real meaning of the term tend to be negative. Lillian Rubin, active in her 80s as an author, sociologist, and psychotherapist, opens her book 60 on Up, The Truth About Aging in America with OE getting old sucks. It always has, it always will. Dr. Rubin contrasts the Oriel old age with the oracy pictures painted by middle-aged writers. Writing at the age of 87, Mary C. Morrison delineates the heroism required by old age, to live through the disintegration of own unregistered trademark S own body or that of someone you love. Morrison concludes, old age is not for the faint-hearted. In the book Life Beyond 85 Years, the 150 interviewees had to cope with physical and mental debilitation and with losses of loved ones. One interviewee described living in old age as upper hell. Old age from society unregistered trademark S perspective. Historical periods reveal a mixed picture of the opposition and status of old people. but there has never been a golden age of aging. Studies have disproved the popular belief that in the past old people were venerated by society and cared for by their families. Veneration for and antagonism toward the aged have coexisted in complex relationships throughout history. In ancient times, the very few people who lived beyond 35 physically and mentally healthy, especially those of social status and wealth, were treated with a respect and/or in contrast, those who were frail were seen as a burden and ignored or in extreme cases killed. People were defined as older because of their inability to perform useful tasks rather than their years. In Greek and Roman cultures, old age was denigrated as a time of decline and decrepitude. In the classical period, early beauty and strength were esteemed and old age was viewed as defiling and ugly. The medieval and Renaissance periods depicted old age as cruel or weak. In the modern period, the cultural status of old people has declined in many cultures. Research on age attitudes consistently finds that negative attitudes exceed positive attitudes toward old people because of their looks and behavior. In his study Aging and Old Age, Posner discovers resentment and disdain of older people in American society. Harvard University unregistered trademark implicit association test measures implicit attitudes and beliefs about young vis-a-vis old. Blindspot, Hidden Biases of Good People, a book about the test, reports that 80% of Americans have an automatic preference for the young over older and that attitude is true worldwide. The young are consistent in their negative attitude toward the old. Ageism documents that Americans generally have a little tolerance for older persons and very few reservations about harboring negative attitudes about them. In spite of its prevalence, ageism is seldom the subject of public discourse. Old Age from Simulated Perspective, Simone de Beauvoir wrote that fear is one form of experience that belongs only to those that are older that of old age itself nevertheless, simulations of old age attempt to help younger people gain some understanding. Texas A&M University offers a plan for aging simulation workshop. The workshop is adapted from sensitizing people to the processes of aging. Some of the simulations follow. Sight, wearing swimmer unregistered trademark goggles with black paper pasted to lens with only a small hole to simulate tunnel vision. Hearing, use earplugs to dull the sound of people talking. Touch, wearing thick gloves, button a shirt or buckle a belt. Dexterity, with tape around several fingers, unscrew a jar lid. Mobility and balance, carry packages in one hand while using a walker. The McLean Intergenerational Institute conducts extreme aging workshops, as depicted in The New York Times. A condensed version was presented on NBC unregistered trademark Today Show and is available online. One exercise was to lay out 3 sets of 5 slips of paper. On set number 1, write your 5 most enjoyed activities. On set number 2, write your 5 most valued possessions. On set number 3, write your 5 most loved people. Then allows them one by one, trying to feel each loss, until you have lost them all, as happens in old age. Old age frailty. Most people in the age range of 60 to 80, enjoy rich possibilities for a full life, but the condition of frailty distinguished by early bodily failure and greater dependence becomes increasingly after that. Gerontologists note the lack of research regarding and the difficulty in defining frailty. However, they add that physicians recognize frailty when they see it. A group of geriatricians proposed a general definition of frailty as a physical state of increased vulnerability to stresses that results from decreased reserves and dysregulation in multiple physiological systems. Prevalence of frailty. Frailty is a common condition in later old age, but different definitions of frailty produce diverse assessments of prevalence. One study placed the incidence of frailty for ages 65 plus at 10.7%. Another study placed the incidence of frailty in age 65 plus population at 22% for women and 15% for men. A Canadian study illustrated how frailty increases with age and calculated the prevalence for 65+ as 22.4% and for 85+ as 43.7%. A worldwide study of Euro-OE patterns of frailty or Euro based on data from 20 nations found a consistent correlation between frailty and age, a higher frequency among women, and more frailty in wealthier nations where greater support and medical care increases longevity. In Norway, a 20-year longitudinal study of 400 people found that bodily failure and greater dependence became prevalent in the 80-plus years. The study calls these years the A-Euro-OF Euro or a Euro-OE old age in the real meaning of the term a Euro. Similarly, the A-Euro-OE Berlin Aging Study a Euro rated overall functionality on 4 levels, good, medium, poor, and very poor. People in their 70s were mostly rated good. In the 80 to 90-year range, the 4 levels of functionality were divided equally. By the 90 to 100-year range, 60% would be considered frail because of very poor functionality and only 5% still possessed good functionality. In the United States, the 85-plus age group is the fastest growing, a group that is almost sure to face the A-Euro-OE inevitable decrease a Euro of survivors. Markers of frailty. 3 unique markers of frailty have been proposed: loss of any notion of invincibility, loss of ability to do things essential to a near-Euro unregistered trademark care, and loss of possibility for a subsequent life stage. Old age survivors on average deteriorate from agility in their 65 to 80 to a period of frailty preceding death. This deterioration is gradual for some and precipitous for others. Frailty is marked by an array of chronic physical and mental problems, which means that frailty is not treatable as a specific disease. These problems, coupled with increased dependency in the basic activities of daily living required for personal care, add emotional problems, depression and anxiety. In sum, frailty has been depicted as a group of a Euro-y complex issues, a Euro distinct but a Euro-y causally interconnected, a Euro that often include a Euro-y comorbid diseases, a Euro, progressive weakness, stress, exhaustion, and depression. Misconceptions of frail people. Johnson and Berra did a pioneering study of life beyond 85 years by interviews over a 6-year period. In talking with 85-plus-year-olds, they found some popular conceptions about old age to be erroneous. Many studies of old age overlook the 85-plus survivors, so their conclusions do not apply. Such erroneous conceptions include people in old age have at least one family member for support, old age well-being requires social activity, and a Euro successful adaptation a Euro to age-related changes demands a continuity of self-concept. In their interviews, Johnson and Berra found that 24% of the 85-plus had no face-to-face family relationships. Many have outlived their families. Second, that contrary to popular notions, the interviews revealed that the reduced activity and socializing of the over 85s does not harm their well-being. They are Euro welcome increased detachment a Euro third, rather than a continuity of self-concept. As the interviewees faced new situations, they changed their Euro cognitive and emotional processes a Euro and reconstituted their Euro self a Euro representation a Euro care and costs. Frail people require a high level of care. Medical advances have made it possible to a Euro postpone death a Euro for years. This added time costs many frail people a Euro prolonged sickness, dependence, pain, and suffering a Euro. These final years are also costly in economic terms. 1 out of every 4 Medicare dollars is spent on the frail in their last year of life in attempts to postpone death. Medical treatments in the final days are not only economically costly, they are often unnecessary, even harmful. Norton Hadler, MD, warns against the tendency to medicalize and overtreat the frail. In her Choosing Medical Care in Old Age, Muriel Ogillick MD argues that appropriate medical treatment for the frail is not the same as for the robust. The frail are vulnerable to a Euro being tipped over a Euro by any physical stress put on the systems such as medical interventions. Death and frailty. Old age, death, and frailty are linked because approximately half the deaths in old age are preceded by months or years of frailty. Older adults' views on death is based on interviews with 109 people in the 70 to 98 range, with a mean age of 80.7. Almost 20% of the people wanted to use whatever treatment that might postpone death. About the same number said that given a terminal illness, they would choose assisted suicide. Roughly half chose doing nothing except live day by day until death comes naturally without medical or other intervention designed to prolong life. This choice was coupled with a desire to receive palliative care if needed. About half of older adults suffer multimorbidity, that is, they have 3 or more chronic conditions. Medical advances have made it possible to postpone death, but in many cases this postponement adds prolonged sickness, dependence, pain, and suffering, a time that is costly in social, psychological, economic terms. The longitudinal interviews of 150 age 85-plus people summarized in Life Beyond 85 Years found a progressive terminal decline in the year prior to death, constant fatigue, much sleep, detachment from people, things, and activities, simplified lives. Most of the interviewees did not fear death. Some would welcome it. One person said, living this long is pure hell. However, nearly everyone feared a long process of dying. Some wanted to die in their sleep. Others wanted to die on their feet. The study of older adults' views on death found that the more frail people were, the more pain, suffering, and struggle they were enduring, the more likely they were to accept and welcome death as a release from their misery. Their fear about the process of dying was that it would prolong their distress. Besides being a release from misery, some saw death as a way to reunion with departed loved ones. Others saw death as a way to free their caretakers from the burden of their care. Religiosity in old age. At all times, old people have been more religious than young people. At the same time, wide cultural variations exist. In the United States, 90% of old-age Hispanics view themselves as very, quite, or somewhat religious. The Pew Research Center unregistered trademark study of black and white old people found that 62% of those in ages 65 to 74 and 70% in ages 75 plus asserted that religion was very important to them. For all 65 plus people, more women than men and more blacks than whites consider religion very important to them. This compares to 54% in the 30 to 49 age range. In a British 20-year longitudinal study, less than half of the old people surveyed said that religion was very important to them, and 1/4 said they had become less religious in old age. The late life rise in religiosity is stronger in Japan than in the United States, but in the Netherlands it is minimal. In the practice of religion, a study of 60-plus people found that 25% read the Bible every day and over 40% look at religious TV. Pew Research found that in the age 65-plus range, 75% of whites and 87% of blacks pray daily. Participation in organized religion is not a good indicator of religiosity because transportation and health problems often hinder participation. Demographic changes. In the industrialized countries, life expectancy and, thus, the old-age population have increased consistently over the last decades. In the United States, the proportion of people aged 65 or older increased from 4% in 1900 to about 12% in 2000. In 1900, only about 3 million of the nation's citizens were 65 or older. By 2000, the number of senior citizens had increased to about 35 million. Population experts estimate that more than 50 million Americans about 17% of the population will be 65 or older in 2020. By 2050, it is projected that at least 400,000 Americans will be 100 or older. The number of old people is growing around the world chiefly because of the post-World War II baby boom and increases in the provision and standards of healthcare. By 2050, 33% of the developed world unregistered trademark S population and almost 20% of the less developed world unregistered trademark S population will be over 60 years old. The growing number of people living to their 80s and 90s in the developed world has strained public welfare systems and has also resulted in increased incidence of diseases like cancer and dementia that were rarely seen in pre-modern times. When the United States Social Security Program was created, persons older than 65 numbered only around 5% of the population, and the average life expectancy of a 65-year-old in 1936 was approximately 5 years, while in 2011 it could often range from 10 to 20 years. Other issues that can arise from an increasing population are growing demands for healthcare and an increase in demand for different types of services. Of the roughly 150,000 people who die each day across the globe, about two-thirds are 100,000 per day are die of age-related causes. In industrialized nations, the proportion is much higher, reaching 90%. Psychosocial aspects. According to Eric Erickson on a unregistered trademark S8 stages of life theory, the human personality is developed in a series of 8 stages that take place from the time of birth and continue on throughout an individual unregistered trademark S complete life. He characterizes old age as a period of integrity versus despair, during which a person focuses on reflecting back on his life. Those who are unsuccessful during this phase will feel that their life has been wasted and will experience many regrets. The individual will be left with feelings of bitterness and despair. Those who feel proud of their accomplishments will feel a sense of integrity. Successfully completing this phase means looking back with few regrets and a general feeling of satisfaction. These individuals will attain wisdom, even when confronting death. Coping is a very important skill needed in the aging process to move forward with life and not be stuck in the past. The way a person adapts and copes reflects his aging process on a psychosocial level. Newman and Newman proposed a 9th stage of life, elderhood. Elderhood refers to those individuals who live past the life expectancy of their birth cohorts. There are 2 different types of people described in this stage of life. The young old are the healthy individuals who can function on their own without assistance and can complete their daily tasks independently. The old are those who depend on specific services due to declining health or diseases. This period of life is characterized as a period of immortality versus extinction. Immortality is the belief that your life will go on past death. Some examples are an afterlife or living on through one's family. Extinction refers to feeling as if life has no purpose. Theories of old age, social theories, or concepts, propose explanations for the distinctive relationships between old people and their societies. One of the theories is the disengagement theory proposed in 1961. This theory proposes that in old age a mutual disengagement between people and their society occurs in anticipation of death. By becoming disengaged from work and family responsibilities, according to this concept, people are unable to enjoy their old age without stress. This theory has been subjected to the criticism that old age disengagement is neither natural, inevitable, nor beneficial. Furthermore, disengaging from social ties in old age is not across the board. Unsatisfactory ties are dropped and satisfying ones kept. In opposition to the disengagement theory, the activity theory of old age argues that disengagement in old age occurs not by desire, but by the barriers to social engagement imposed by society. This theory has been faulted for not factoring in psychological changes that occur in old age as shown by reduced activity even when available. It has also been found that happiness in old age is not proportional to activity. According to the continuity theory, in spite of the inevitable differences imposed by their old age, most people try to maintain continuity in personhood, activities, and relationships with their younger days. Socio-emotional selectivity theory also depicts how people maintain continuity in old age. The focus of this theory is continuity sustained by social networks, albeit networks narrowed by choice and by circumstances. The choice is for more harmonious relationships. The circumstances are loss of relationships by death and distance. Life expectancy by nation at birth in year 2011 ranged from 48 years to 82. In most parts of the world women live, on average, longer than men. Even so, The disparities vary between 12 years in Russia to no difference or higher life expectancy for men in countries such as Zimbabwe and Uganda. The number of elderly persons worldwide began to surge in the second half of the 20th century. Up to that time, 5 or less % of the population was over 65. Few lived longer than their 70s, and people who attained advanced age were rare enough to be a novelty and were revered as wise sages. The worldwide over 65 population in 1960 was 1/3 of the under 5 population. By 2013, the over 65 population had grown to equal the under 5 population. The over 65 population is projected to double the under 5 by 2050. Before the surge in the over 65 population, accidents and disease claimed many people before they could attain old age, and health problems in those over 65 meant a quick death in most cases. If a person lived to an advanced age, it was due to genetic factors and/or a relatively easy lifestyle, since diseases of old age could not be treated before the 20th century. Old age benefits. German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck created the world's first comprehensive government social safety net in the 1880s, providing for old age pensions. In the United States of America, and the United Kingdom, 65 was traditionally the age of retirement with full old age benefits. In 2003, the age at which a United States citizen became eligible for full Social Security benefits began to increase gradually, and will continue to do so until it reaches 67 in 2027. Full retirement age for Social Security benefits for people retiring in 2012 is age 66. In the United Kingdom, the state pension age for men and women will rise to 66 in 2020, with further increases scheduled after that. Originally, the purpose of old age pensions was to prevent elderly persons from being reduced to beggary, which is still common in some underdeveloped countries, but growing life expectancies and older populations have brought into question the model under which pension systems were designed. The dominant perception of the American old age population changed from a euro need a euro and a euro worth a euro to a euro powerful a euro and a euro greedy, a euro old people getting more than their share of the nation's resources. However, in 2011, using a supplemental poverty measure, the old age American poverty rate was measured as 15.9%. Assistance, devices and personal. In the USA in 2008, 11 million people aged 65 plus lived alone, 5 million or 22% of ages 65 are Euro 74, 4 million or 34% of ages 75 are Euro 84, and 2 million or 41% of ages 85 plus. The 2007 gender breakdown for all people 65 plus was men 19% and women 39%. Many new assistive devices made especially for the home have enabled more old people to care for themselves. Activities of daily living. Able data lists 40,000 assistive technology products in 20 categories. Some examples of devices are a medical alert and safety system, shower seat, a bed cane and an ADL cuff. A Swedish study found that at age 76, 46% of the subjects used assistive devices. When they reached age 86, 69% used them. The subjects were ambivalent regarding the use of the assistive devices, as a Euro enable as a Euro or as a Euro disable as a Euro. People who view assistive devices as enabling greater independence accept and use them. Those who see them as symbols of disability reject them. Even with assistive devices as of 2006, 8.5 million Americans needed personal assistance because of impaired basic activities of daily living required for personal care or impaired instrumental activities of daily living required for independent living. Projections place this number at 21 million by 2030, when 40% of Americans over 70 will need assistance. There are many options for such long-term care to those who require it. There is the home care, in which a family member, volunteer, or trained professional will aid the person in need and help with daily activities. Another option is community services, which can provide the person with transportation, meal plans, or activities in senior centers. A third option is assisted living, where 24-hour round-the-clock supervision is given with aid in eating, bathing, dressing, etc. A final option is a nursing home which provides professional nursing care. Old age is one of the 4 sites in Buddhism. See also, aging, aging in dogs, aging in place, centenarian, elderly care, elder village, geriatric care management, gerontology, list of the verified oldest men, list of the verified oldest women, oldest people, pensioner, respect for the aged day, silver alert, supercentenarian, references. External links, Milton Crumb, a OEIA unregistered trademark older at http, Montanasanyonuscom 201306 and http, THECS original an essay on aging by Milton Crumb /87C5JYCDPUF. Laura Carstensen, research at Stanford University's Lifespan Development Laboratory, and Stanford Center on Longevity. Milton Crumb, a OEIA unregistered trademark M. Freeler at Association of Hospice and Palliative Care Chaplains, http, www.ahpcc.org.uk/ imfrail.pdf, International Federation on Aging informs and promotes positive change for old people globally, Ageukar UK charities supporting those in old age in the UK and in developing countries, Help Age Internationale UK-based international charities supporting older people in developing countries. Sister organisation of Age UK, people get happier as they age. How old do you feel? It depends on your age.